All right, let's jump right into this explainer. We're looking at a very real, very dangerous heat and flash flood threat that's barreling toward New York City. And look, knowing the facts before a storm hits is exactly how you protect yourself and your community. So if you live in, work in, or even just visiting the 5 boroughs right now, the information we're breaking down today is absolutely essential. Here's the roadmap for today's explainer. We'll be covering the weather threat explained, NYC's emergency response plan, how we're protecting vulnerable populations, your personal action plan, and finally, those essential emergency contacts you need to have handy. Okay, Section 1, the weather threat explained. Let's look at what we're actually up against. So, here's the thing. The actual thermometer might only sit in the upper 80s to near 90 degrees, but honestly, that number is super deceptive. The oppressive humidity rolling into the city is going to make it feel like a blistering 100 degrees across all 5 boroughs. This isn't just your standard uncomfortable summer day, right? A heat index this high is literally dangerous, which is exactly why the National Weather Service has issued a severe heat advisory. It completely changes how your body cools itself, and it demands our immediate respect and preparation. But wait, the heat is actually only half the story. We're also tracking severe thunderstorms that could drop rainfall at rates exceeding 1 to 2 inches per hour. Now, why does that specific number matter so much? Well, because dumping that massive volume of water in such a tiny window is a perfect recipe for flash flooding, especially in a concrete jungle like ours. There is simply nowhere for all that water to go fast enough. What's really fascinating and frankly a bit scary is seeing exactly when these weather systems overlap. You've got isolated storms starting on Wednesday, but the real pressure cooker hits Thursday at 11 a.m. when the heat advisory officially kicks in. Then, fast forward to Friday afternoon. That is our absolute peak danger zone. We're going to see maximum heat colliding with widespread severe thunderstorms and heavy downpours, all right before the heat advisory finally lifts at 8 p.m. Friday. So consider this timeline your personal roadmap for when to be the most cautious. Moving right along to Section 2, NYC's emergency response plan. Protecting New Yorkers means showing up before the storm, not just after it. I think that line from Mayor Zohran Mamdani really hits the nail on the head. It sets the exact tone for the city's proactive stance. They are leaving absolutely nothing to chance here. It tells us the strategy is all about prevention. They aren't waiting around for flooded basements or heat stroke emergencies to suddenly react. They're out in the streets right now laying the groundwork to keep everyone safe. For instance, activating the heat emergency plan means making sure literally everyone has a safe place to escape the triple-digit heat. The city is opening hundreds of cooling centers on Thursday and Friday. And I really want to highlight something here. They are accessible and pet-friendly. So often people will stubbornly stay in a sweltering apartment because they refuse to abandon their dog or cat. The city gets that, so you and your pets can absolutely go find an air-conditioned sanctuary together. On the flip side, we've got the flash flood emergency plan in full effect. The city is tackling the drainage infrastructure right now to stop water from pooling. City crews are out there aggressively clearing out catch basins and running advanced inspections in neighborhoods that we all know historically flood. They're basically trying to give those 1 to 2 inches of hourly rain a clear path to drain away, which should hopefully prevent the kind of catastrophic street-level flooding we've unfortunately seen in the past. All right, Section 3, protecting vulnerable populations. I am a massive fan of this specific initiative. They're deploying Cool Vans, which stands for Cooling Outreach on Location. Basically, this means taking life-saving resources directly to seniors who might not be able to physically get to a cooling center themselves. There are nearly 24 of these vans hitting the pavement, and they aren't just handing out bottles of water either. They're offering medical care, hot meals, and even rides to cooler spots. It is a brilliant, mobile strike against heat vulnerability for older adults. And it doesn't stop there. The NYC Emergency Management Department is massively stepping up street outreach to help our homeless population escape this life-threatening heat. Look, when the asphalt literally feels like a frying pan, living on the streets goes from difficult to deadly in a matter of hours. This expanded outreach connects unhoused folks directly with immediate shelter and cooling centers. Let's move to Section 4, your personal action plan. Because the city can't do it all. We've got a checklist here, and I need you to take these seriously because these steps literally save lives. First up, hydrate, 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 and limit your outdoor activity. That is non-negotiable in this kind of humidity. Second, check on your neighbors, especially the elderly or those with disabilities. Next, and this is a big one for New Yorkers, if you live in a basement apartment, you have to make a plan right now for where to go if it floods. Do not wait until the water is literally at your door. And finally, when the storms do hit, just stay indoors. Avoid heavy rain, strong winds, and for sure, stay far away from any downed power lines. Finally, Section 5, Essential Emergency Contacts. This is a big one, folks. It is absolutely crucial that we keep our emergency lines clear for actual emergencies. So let's establish the difference. Only call 911 if you or someone else is in immediate life-threatening danger, like, say, being trapped by rising floodwaters. Do not call 911 because a tree fell in an empty street or a drain is blocked. For those non-life-threatening hazards or just to find the nearest cooling center, you gotta call 311. Knowing this difference ensures our first responders can actually get to the people who need them the most. Think of this as your modern digital survival kit. The city has made it ridiculously easy to stay in the loop. If you're out and about, those tall Link NYC kiosks on the sidewalk will actually give you real-time walking directions to a cooling center less than 10 minutes away. If you're online, just hit up finder.nyc.gov/cooling centers. And honestly, I highly recommend doing this one right this second. Text the word Notify NYC to 692-692. You'll get free, real-time emergency alerts pushed straight to your phone as things evolve. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one critical thought. New York City has aggressively mobilized its resources. They are clearing drains and opening shelters. But have you taken the steps to secure your own household? Do you actually know your basement flood plan? Have you checked on that elderly neighbor down the hall? Look, extreme weather always tests the city's resilience. But that resilience ultimately starts with you. Stay cool, stay dry, and please stay safe out there.